How are you feeling? Are you tired? Are you battered?
Yeah, yeah, I'm exhausted. I literally walked through the door about 10 minutes ago.
You just
And
was the flight home all right?
yeah, we ended up getting quite drunk at the airport. So
Who's
like,
we?
it was me, Jamie Faulkner, George Rogers, and Dan. I can't for the life of me remember his second name. Dan Cooler.
All right, yeah. Wow, I mean, that's a pretty impressive UK like team there. You know, that's
a good strong group of boys. We've put another really good showing at the Pro Tour, right? Like we had me and Jake Warburton in the top 8. We had Shamir lose a winning in to Jake. We had Francesco lose, I think maybe 2 winning ins as well.
Yeah. It was literally round 13. You were all just stacked just there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." The odds are we thought one of you would get in, and then I thought the stars would have to align for 3 of you to get in. That was like, well, I was like, "Come on, 3 people in." But
I think Francesco sort of got a bit unlucky in the stretch with his matchups right at the end.
Yeah, because it turned out the person that he lost to was never going to get in anyway.
Yeah, I got paired against someone who also couldn't make it.
But they just win.
But they still wanted to battle, and we battled and they took it.
Absolutely. So if you haven't seen the name, we've got Pro Tour Lille champion and top 8 Pro Tour Baltimore champion Matthew Foulkes here again. Thank you so much. We need to actually catch up sometime where it's not over you being, kicking ass at an event.
But I usually don't get too many of those breaks, do we? Every time I play an event recently, it seems to go all right,
That's true, because the last time we actually had a quick chat, you said, because I invited you to the UK Discord, and you said, I don't go on Discord. And I thought, that's a complete lie. I see your name everywhere. And then you went, no, honestly, I don't play Fab. You showed me a picture, 0 XP. I was like, I thought I didn't play this game enough. Like, you really don't play this game to the point of 0 XP. And
I spent a lot of time thinking about the game.
You spent a lot of time working out, trying to get, I don't know, some reason I saw your chart saying that. I thought it's like, oh, I want to get my body to level 100. And I thought, well, that's the cap. And you went, well, my body's now level 110. I was like, how does he go above?
You just got to keep going,
100. I have no idea how that metric system works.
It's just like a so it's just a body scanner that gives you like a basic composition. But if you carry like a high amount of muscle mass, then your score can go above 100.
Well,
it's a pretty arbitrary number, but
okay.
If the number keeps going up, my brain feels good. So
well, if they had one for fat, I tell you what, I'll be above 100.
Nice. You got to aim high. You got to push boundaries.
Yeah, you got to put on pushing those boundaries, dude. So, just wanted to really just catch up on your journey in Pro Tour Baltimore. Really, what you were in Team Magnolia?
Yeah.
It looks like a solid team. Your team did really well. What was your journey? What happened? You went from 0 to hero.
Yeah, so I got to have a massive shout out for those guys. They had done a lot of work on the Lexi deck. So like about 6 weeks ago, when I first started, like after the battle hardened, and then we started to see like in leads, we start to see outsider cards come, and we start to be like, we found the Azalea deck quite early on, and we were like, we need to keep this Azalea deck really hush hush.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy. And then I think it was the battle hardened or the Realms game tournament in Chicago happened, and we were like, it's not hush hush. Everyone's got it. Turns out they can work out Codex of Frailty is a good card. We were like, we thought we had some spicy tech, and it was pretty obvious. But then I like looked at those tournaments, and I looked at what like we expected to be doing good from there, and I was like I just can't see how Dromai or Lexi aren't the best decks in the format. That was about 6 weeks ago. Like I just looked at it and I was like Lexi looked to be like from what I'd seen and games I played on Talishar, just by far the most powerful deck. And then Dromai I thought had some like very specifically good matchups into like the winners metagame.
But it helps really that her counters really fell off as well.
Exactly. Like Fire, Raya, Viscerai sort of disappeared from the meta with the arrival of Azalea and Lexi's like prominence. So like it looked like a really exceptionally well positioned tournament for Dromai. And I even said to people at the start of the weekend, like I think Dromai probably is the best pick for the weekend. Like I genuinely believe that to be true. And I still do think that's probably true. I think it's very close in terms of like Lexi or Dromai, like which deck you'd be best of running. I don't think Oldham, despite winning the tournament, was the best pick. I still think it was a really good pick, and it's an exceptionally good deck. So like, as long as you're playing a really good deck, you can't be too far off. But like the Team Magnolia guys basically worked really, really hard on Lexi. Like I had some input like throughout the process, but I've been super busy with life. I moved house just last Monday, like literally a week ago.
Wow.
So I've been dealing with that, and I had to do most of that on my own. Like I did have help from a bunch of friends, but like moving on your own is like really quite stressful.
Yeah.
So like I got here on Monday, and like my room is just chaos. Like there's literally like a wall of boxes around my bed. There's no bed sheet. There's nothing.
All it is weights.
No way. It's nothing. It's just I just couldn't unpack because I was like, I need to play as much Flesh and Blood between now and when I go to the Pro Tour as possible. So like on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't unpack anything. I just was like, I'll avoid all of life's responsibilities and I'll play like 12 hours of Talishar. Literally, I was like, wake up at 8, go to bed at 11, and all I did was like go for a walk, go to the gym, and play Flesh and Blood for the rest of the day. That was it.
Yeah. And then what made you get what set? I saw your interview that you said the Magnolia guys kind of just basically worked out the decks, and you went, cool. I'm going to pick up that you did, the sort of the homework, and then you picked up and ran where they left off. What made you go, Lexi? That's the one I need to go for.
Well, like I think one thing that like there's like a narrative around statistics. Like it's like, so if you look at like Fabry's statistics, that like they aren't actually that useful. But I actually strongly disagree with that, and I base a lot of my assumptions about the game. Like they start from like statistics, and Fabry's statistics are the best source of statistics that we have in Flesh and Blood. And if you see a deck is winning exceptionally high, an exceptionally high win rate on Fabry, that's a great place to start. Like if you can see that, you're like, well, at least I need to look at it.
Yeah.
And Lexi is winning like 58% of his games, which is like
it's a good start. It's a good start.
And like it didn't seem to have any particularly tough matchups, or like, and that has adjusted a bit now. Like people have adjusted their lists and found ways to start to beat Lexi in some way. But like there was a point where literally no matchup by the data was bad for Lexi. Like it was 50% or above in every single one. And we were like,
yeah,
that's not a bad place to be in.
No.
You're like, what's the worst matchup? You're like, the mirror.
Yeah.
And like I think I don't think I've ever believed that to be true. At the very best, I believe that Dromai has always been a poor matchup for Lexi.
So what made you think I'm not going to play Lexi? By the way, I don't think I'm going to bother editing this. I'm going to tell Matt to move that way because he's in. There we go. Perfect. Because every time I do an interview with you, you love to just go. You love wandering off. This man's so hench. Can't.
Send me on the frame.
No, it's all good. There you go.
What made you not want to play Dromai?
Yeah, what made you not want to play Dromai? If you knew that was going to be a good one, and you knew Lexi was going to be such a good top pick, what made you go, I'm going to play what everyone else is doing rather than going to be the counter pick?
Well, I think to play Dromai at a higher level, it takes a lot of time and effort. And I do believe that I could totally be like one of, if not the best Dromai player. Like, currently, I would say that the top Dromais, I think, Yuha played exceptionally well this tournament.
Yeah.
And I think like Jamie Faulkner and Ian Zhang, and special shout out to Ian because like he came 9th at the Pro Tour, right?
Yeah.
And I think he came at Pro Tour 1 as well.
Yeah.
Top 8 is Pro Tour 2. Like that man's just.
I watched his game. That was like wow, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, he hasn't had like that massive finish, right, that everyone knows him for. But like if you just look at his results, they're just quietly insane constantly.
He's kind of like Michael Fang, really. You know how Michael Fang had that same sort of thing. He was just quietly just getting these results, and then and then he's just waiting for that big finish, which is what he got in Pro Tour.
Yeah, I think Ian is. Yeah, and I think given enough time, I could certainly be on that level. But like, there is a time barrier between where I am right now and where I'd want to be to play a deck at the Pro Tour. I
Yeah.
think Dromai really is a deck that rewards you having that depth of understanding, because you do play games right to the bitter end.
Yeah.
It also requires you to be able to do that at pace.
Yeah.
And also, we didn't actually know for sure quite how much Lexi we were going to see until sort of the last week or so, when the narrative really started to shift. And by this point, I put a ton of time into Lexi, and I think Lexi was still a brilliant choice for the tournament. It wasn't like I was deciding between this deck that I thought was terrible and this deck that I thought was really good. I was deciding between a deck that I thought was like a really good deck that would be a specifically great meta choice, potentially for like a condensed field, or just an insanely good deck. And I decided what I thought was an insanely good deck. And
I think that's a great choice, to be honest. I think when you look at it, I think that was a really wise choice.
Well, it paid off, because in rounds, so I lost round 1 in a Lexi mirror, and then I played Katsu, and then I played Phi. And if I'm playing Dromai, Katsu and Phi are not the ones for me. You know? No, my tournament might have ended quite abruptly had I picked Dromai, but I still do think it was a great choice for the weekend. But like going into Saturday night, I knew I'd be playing Dromai in the top 8, so I got Jamie Faulkner to sit down and practice with me for a good few hours. We spent basically the whole evening doing it.
Yeah. They put the fear of God in you.
I knew. Well, the thing is, I kind of knew how it was anyway. Like, I knew it was bad if played really well, and I had to draw pretty well and get a good roll going. And then there is ways you can win. And I understood like what needs to happen for me to win the game. Like, even if so, I went 0-7, and then we played another one in the morning, and I lost that as well. So I went 0-8, and one of them was kind of close.
Yeah. I saw that in your stream thing. I was like,
that's not too representative, because a lot of the times you just drew an early tumble tie and you lose the game.
Yeah.
That is just something, you just lose the game. You're like, you go like turn 1 tumble tie. Let's just go to the next game. It's not from here. It's not for me from here. But like, I knew what needed to happen to win the game.
I could see that, and it was kind of fascinating. And I'll end it on, sort of wrap it up on this point. What was kind of fascinating is that when I saw you in that interview booth, and you I went and played against Jamie in at 0-7. I was like, oh my! I was like, no, Matt knows. He knows this is going to be an incredibly rough matchup, which was very, for me, I thought that was it was a really unique position, because every time I spoke to you, every time I've seen you, you seem to always just know you got that answer, and I found that really humbling to sort of see you go, but you basically said, guys, this is going to be rough as shit, right? But I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to just do my best.
I had a shot. I think the game we played showed that, like, until the wheels fell off when I drew a hand with no arrows, and and the punish really came through. Like, I think there was probably a time in the game where I was a favorite to win. Like, I was the favorite to win the match, I think.
Until the wheels
and the wheels came fully off very quickly. I drew that hand, and I was like, this is bad. And then I quivered a battering bolt into my arsenal, and I was like,
I saw that. I saw that. I was like,
I was thinking, like, okay, where's I'm just like, you're like crawling around in the darkness trying to find just like a scrap of hope on the floor somewhere, and I couldn't find it.
I would have second that with flipped. I think I was like, they think it all is all over. It is now.
My opponent even reads the quiver to make sure that it has to go into my arsenal. And I'm like,
yes, it does.
It does have to go into my arsenal.
If only. Yeah. Your draft. I mean, it's not just CC. You had to get an amazing draft result, and I think draft was the deal breaker for a lot of people, because Jamie Faulkner walked into end of day 1 5th of, and the draft just, if you're not going to do well in draft, you crash. Every one of you did at least. You can only lose like one game, right? In draft maximum, or you just 6-0 it.
Unless you Exos CC, I went 5-1 in draft. I went 5-1.
So how did you, with your 0 XP coming into this, how did your drafting training come about?
We actually did a draft camp at this house I'm at now, Aaron Boyan's house. We all got together, and Aaron was gracious enough to host us.
Yeah.
And we spent a weekend just doing drafts and discussing and getting to grips with things. And then I was also fortunate enough to, just before the Pro Tour, get in a good few practice drafts, both online and then in real life right before the Pro Tour with my team. And even on Saturday night, on Friday night after day one of the Pro Tour, like I was just like, I'd played all my games, but you only play 7 games, so I still had some energy. So I was just like walking around trying to, like, I went to a hotel to try and find Tariq Patel because they said that they were doing drafts, and I went to the wrong hotel, and there were some people there, and they were like, "You wanna do a draft?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll join you guys." Literally, kind of people I didn't know, and they were like, "Oh wait, are you Matt Foulkes?" I was like, "Yeah, let's just do a draft, cool."
Yeah.
And so drafted with some guys, and they were really friendly. I made a bunch of new friends, right? But I drafted the most insane Katsu deck I've ever seen. Like, they gave me a constructed deck. during the draft, I was like, no one is going to beat me, guys. I'm sorry. And then they played me, and they were like, yeah, no, you've got like 3 full red bonds lines in your deck.
Right.
Like, and then I sat down on day 2, and I ended up playing Katsu, and my deck was way worse than that.
Yeah.
I had like a pretty poor Katsu deck, and my deck had like 2 good hands in it total.
Right.
Like you could draw 2 good hands in the deck, and I just happened to draw them every game. Like, and somehow I remember, like, I finished the 3rd match of the pod, and I think in Outsiders, it's really difficult to win with a poor deck,
Right.
because the games do tend to go long. Like, you see the sum total of your parts. You know, it's not that often that you play like a quick game and don't, like, if part of your deck sucks, you're probably going to see that part at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't just hope to draw the good bit. But the game's played out in a way that's kind of what happened, and I ended up, like, I finished the pod like 3-0, and I almost was in tears because I was like, how did that happen? How did we walk out of that pod with a 3-0? Like, I literally went to my friends after. I saw Jamie after the draft, and he's like, I've got an 0-3 deck. And
No.
And I was like, I might have a 1-2 deck if I'm lucky. And he did 0-3 his pod, but somehow my 1-2 converted into it. And I look at it back, and I'm not being like overly humble to say it's a 1-2 deck. It really was a 1-2 deck. I don't know how I walked out of the pod with a 3-0, but as soon as I did, I was like, wow, we're really
cooking on gas.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, like, I can start to see the finish line of where we need to get to here.
Amazing. That's such a. These are the sort of stories and stuff that you just don't know. And this is why I really wanted you on, because in my world, we had this little spreadsheet, right? That Mark Henderson, the guy who does Draft Fab, yeah. So he made, because LSS did the you can watch the rounds and they update it live. It was really good. But Mark went, that's not good enough. So he made an Excel spreadsheet, and we tracked all the UK players and everything, right? So and it was doing a refresh every like 60 seconds, refresh. And the Excel spreadsheet will live update telling us where people are, what position they're in, and everything live going out. So we had your stream on, we had this on. So I'm watching you, I'm watching Jamie, I'm watching Ian Zhao, we're watching everyone and where they are. And I'm just watching you go, oh. And then when you were going through the draft and I saw you 3-0, and I was like, oh, he's right here. Oh, Francesco's right there. Oh, shit. Like, it was just, that's us sitting here on this side. It's lovely to hear what the hell's going on, like, on the ground. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. I said this to someone about card tournaments. It's like, that, like, often in card tournaments, you just sit on the brink of death, on the brink of elimination.
Yeah.
Basically, it depends. Sometimes you have like the easy run, well, not the easy run, but
like you have a good day.
The clean run, you know, like when you look back at like UK Nationals, I didn't have to sweat it, right? I wasn't living on the brink of death for like a day. But like at the Pro Tour, especially at Pro Tour 2, like from round 5 onwards, if I lost the game, I was no longer in contention with top 8. That was, you know, and the same here. I was X and 2 like on day 1. And it's just like, if I lose one of my draft rounds, so I'm not top 8ing. If I lose first round of CC, I'm not top 8ing. Like, I took my loss at the last possible moment I could have to have made top 8. You know,
perfect.
Like, so it's like, and even when I lost, I was not sure I was still live because I didn't know how the breakers were going to play out. You guys probably knew better than I did.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. We were all sitting there going, I think we know better than they do.
Oh, you certainly did.
Yeah, we knew
You certainly
exactly.
did.
We mapped it out. Second that round ended, and it just put you all in its place. We're like, okay, so Matt Foulkes, Francesco, Shamir, and Jake, they're all in. Okay, so Matt, we knew you're playing this guy. Oh, okay, so he needs to win that. He needs. We're just, yeah, it was just.
We were,
Real.
yeah, we were. Me and Shamir were stood there right before we were discussing. Like we were like, looking at the standings. Me and Shamir were looking at the standings when they got posted, and we were like, "Well, I was like, I hope I don't play you, Shamir. I really hope." Just because you'd never hear the end of it if you got knocked out by Shamir, and also because no matter where he is, you would hear him.
Yeah, we could hear him.
But also because he's a really and he's proven it again and again now at this point. You know, to go top 4 in a Pro Tour and then top 16 the next one, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Anyone would take that, right?
Absolutely. And it was your interview though. When you should have turned around and said, "Bro, did you not see my interview? If my name pops up on Gem, you should fear, dread, mate."
Yeah, I got a lot of like kickback on that.
No. For anyone that knows and spent time with Matt and spoke to him in real life, we loved it. It was heel WWE trash. It was just like, here we go. This guy's not. It's the heel tour. We need a heel. The other two are going, oh, I hope, Pablo's lovely, Michael's lovely. And they gave an answer that we knew it was going to be lovely. Oh, I hope everyone's having a great time. I can't wait to see this guy. And then you're like, I'm here to kick ass and chew gum.
I'm the best. I spoke to James White on Sunday night, and he said to me, he was like, "Oh, I really appreciate that you went all out in your interview, and then backed it up."
Yeah, exactly. The fact that you did back up was just more hype. I mean, I don't know really, like, you're going to have like a ton of people coming out and chatting. I just wanted to just come in and just check in with you. You've obviously had an amazing time. You got another trophy now. We can call you the UK national champion, the Pro Tour winner, and now a top 8 Pro Tour. Bro, I mean, there's a lot of chatter around who's the best player in the world. And I'm like, mate, we've got a team and you're in it.
I said at the start of the tournament, I did a quick interview with Alex from Tales of Fab, I think his channel.
Tales of Alex is now it's called.
Tales of Alex is one, yeah. And he said, what would it take for you to say that you're the best player in the world? I was like, I could win the Pro Tour this weekend, and I still wouldn't say that I'm better than Michael Hamilton.
Yeah, that guy's phenomenal.
And to add an addendum to that, I also wouldn't have said, even if Michael hadn't won the tournament, I wouldn't have said probably that I was better than Michael Feng. Because I spent a week staying with Michael Feng after Worlds, and like that guy's really fucking good at Fab. He's just really, really good at Fab, and I might be someone with 0 XP. That man plays a ton of flesh and blood.
Yeah,
that man has all the natural talent in addition to all of the work, and he's an exceptional player. Like I said this when he won to him. I was like, there's not a single person, apart from maybe your opponent, who isn't happy that you won this tournament, Michael. Everyone is happy that everyone is happy that you've won. You're someone that literally everyone is like, I'm glad that guy won because he's great.
Yeah, I agree. I spent some time with him when I went to Utrecht, and he literally embodies just like such a approachable person. And when I was my record thing was I want the UK to win. So come on, Jay, come on, Matt, win it. You're both out. Christ, right, Michael. That's the next guy I root for. It's Michael.
Quick story about Michael. So I stayed with him after Worlds, and he just kept doing things that were too nice, Yeah. He'd buy dinner. Like we'd get dinner, and he'd just pay, and I'd be like, no, I want to, and he'd be like, I already got it, so it's done.
Oh.
And I'd be like, well, let me get the next one, and then he wouldn't let me get the next one, and I'd be like, I'm trying to contribute. Like I'm already staying in his house.
Just put the money in his pocket.
Yeah. Like, I literally I had to set an alarm. Like we went to a breakfast place around the corner from his house. And he's like, oh yeah, I come here all the time. I love this place. And like I had to set an alarm to wake up early, to sneak out, to buy him breakfast so I could bring it back to him when he was still in bed. That's what I had to do to be able to do Michael Feng a favor. That's how nice he is. I literally have to sneak out of the house early just to be able to do him a favor because he's he was way too kind and considerate.
Awesome, man. I mean, so we can all agree. We're all so happy. We're happy that the event seemed to have run amazing. Now, I just want to.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best one so far, by like for sure, no debate. Like Star City Games actually smashed it.
Yeah.
And like it was actually the best run Pro Tour for sure by far so far. And
best event, better than Worlds, better than was it just the best one they've done?
Yeah, like there was stuff about Worlds that was more like the fact it was Worlds was a bigger thing. But like in terms of the organization and like the little stuff that they've done, like they changed the way that they did like the James White meet and greet. So like they made it because at Worlds it was like everyone wanted to do it and it was only on one day, so there was just this massive queue and they sort of split it up over the 3 days. And I think people really appreciate that because like the fact that James comes and like actually and spends his time meeting people who play and love his game.
The Worlds was obscene. That poor guy. It wasn't 1 day; it was 2 days. He literally went, "I'm here, and I guess I'm here until someone says stop." And no one said stop for a long time. So poor guy was worked. I saw the map as well, like the play area, and it had the welcome to Wraith mat. It felt like they've learned a lot from the other events and just put it in place.
And like in terms of me, like being the best player in the world, that's not who I am. I'm not there.
No. Hey, you don't call it. This is a community ran public debate on who's the best, and I have to say it's all down to who's the consistent. And at the minute, you're definitely in one of those. It's never just one person, is it? It's always the same with everything. Someone is the best for a minute, and then we move on very quickly after the next one. But the idea is who's the consistent one. You've got a UK champion, you're a Pro Tour winner, and now you're a top 8 Pro Tour champion as well. So you've got some. You can safely say you're pretty consistent.
I think, at the very least, I'm confident and comfortable saying that I think I'm one of the best players out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that like anyone who gets paired against me should feel a combination of sadness and dread.
Absolutely. But now we've got.
Like, I think if you get paired against me, it's not going to. I hope never to make it easy for anyone.
Oh yeah.
Like you'll be going to war if we go.
We've got 2 call-ins coming up. We've got Calling Antwerp. Are you there?
Yes, I will be.
And we've got obviously Calling Antwerp. I wish it, but come on. I mean, this is it'd be ridiculous to say if there's been a UK podcast. We've got UK calling coming up.
We do. We've had that one. We were meant to have it last year. It didn't happen.
It's a long time coming. Are you going?
A bit delayed. Obviously, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be winning.
You heard it here first. He's going to take down the UK calling. And are you going to take that? And Antwerp? Dude, just take them all.
No, I'll give Antwerp back. I'll let them know. It's just
Thank you so much for taking the time to catch up, because I swear I only get to really catch up with you if we're going to a big event or if you win something. So
I'll just have to keep winning.
Yeah. Or you can just say hello anytime. I'm here.
Are you playing any RTNs this season?
Yes, I am. I'm going to 2.
Which ones?
Alpha Games and Underworlds.
Okay, not sure which weekend are those.
Alpha. Oh, yeah, someone's ringing the doorbell. So Alpha Games it's on the 20th of May.
That's the same weekend as Utrecht then, as Antwerp then.
No, Antwerp is next week. It's following. It's the week before Antwerp. I know this because I'm going on holiday in Belgium. Trust me, the irony it's insane. I'm on holiday in the country it's held and I can't go.
Am I confused as to what weekend Antwerp is?
Yeah, it is. It's the 27th.
Antwerp's on the 27th?
Yeah, it's that weekend.
No. Are you serious?
All right. Live, everyone. Matt Foulkes is discovering that he's going to be in Antwerp 1 week before the event.
No. It's May 19th to the 21st.
Is it?
Yeah, okay. Thank God.
All right. I'm talking crap. Maybe I edit this out.
I had a bit of an incident where my boss is like, well, you can't get that weekend off because we need you there. We've already wrote it in your shifts.
What? Hang on a minute. You telling me I could have went the whole time?
And I was like, I'm not I'm not telling you that I need it off. I'm letting you know that I won't be here.
I don't think I'm going to edit any of this because I want the whole community to realize that I have no idea what the hell's going on. And here's me saying I can't go to the calling, and I probably could have the whole time.
Well, maybe it's not too late.
Oh, no, it probably
I've
is.
not booked anything. I've not booked anything. I just assume my body will be transported there at an appropriate moment. Like that's how I am with every tournament. I just sort of assume that I'll work it out and I will eventually be there.
No one watches the end. Anyway. All right, dude, thank you so much for your time. Well, that was eventful.
I might see you in Antwerp, mate.
I'll probably see you in Antwerp in a bit.